Welcome to Be the Change Stop Complaining, your weekly dose of health podcast. This is Allie on a pre-recorded line. You are about to hear a very long conversation between me, Allie Banks, and two of my very dearest friends, Mitch and Mason. Mitch Norskog, Mason CB. So when you hear those names interchanged throughout the episode, you'll know who that is. Both of them were in the Marine Corps. They just both got out. They are living their very best lives, both hitched to two wonderful women, and we are talking to them today about their experiences in the Marine Corps, a little bit of just kind of what they did in the Marine Corps, and then a little bit of how it impacted their mindset, what they're doing after the military, and just a whole lot of hot topics kind of related to the Marine Corps, but not exclusively. So it's a super fucking fun episode. I know that I had a great time getting to reconnect with my buddies, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. It's a long one. So sit back and enjoy the ride.
So be the change. And if you don't want to be the change, you're not ready to be the change, then stop complaining.
Did you guys read that thing that I sent you?
No.
I did. Okay, you're just gonna improvise then?
Yeah, I'll freestyle it.
Okay. Go ahead and just say your name and where you're from and what you did in the Marine Corps. Ready, set, go, Mitch.
Man, I was really gonna pass it off to Mason. Okay, so I'm Mitch Nordskog. I am from Santa Clarita, California. And I was in the Marine Corps for 5 years, and my job was reconnaissance man, 0321.
0321. Reconnaissance means?
Gaining intelligence through long-range patrolling and stuff.
Okay. Ready, set, go. Mason.
Mason CB. I'm kind of from Santa Clarita. That's where I enlisted out of with you two fine people. I was in for 4 years from 2016, 2020, and I was a 0331 infantry machine gunner. So no big fancy words like reconnoiter or taking pictures, but
Yeah, you should see the quality of those pictures.
Pristine, sure. Where have we all been? So I know that Mitch went like all over the fucking world. CB, did you get to go anywhere? Where were you stationed?
So I was in Camp Pendleton for the entirety of my 4 years, minus the deployments. So our deployments, my first MEU, we flew over to Okinawa. There's a Marine Corps base in Okinawa. Did a bunch of training over there, and then we hopped on a ship out of Okinawa and floated over to a little island off of the southeast coast of Australia. We did some training with the Australian military, which was super cool. Those guys are rad. And then got to hang out in Brisbane for a couple days. Got to do this other place, Cairns for a couple days. I don't know how to say it with the accent.
That's all right.
Cairns. Second deployment, we floated out of San Diego, the naval base in San Diego. Mm-hmm. Floated over, went to Kuwait and Jordan, mostly just for training out of the army base in Kuwait. The Jordanians, the Arabs, and then some Italians were there. That was a pretty cool one. It's a lot of training. It's a lot of training throughout those 4 years.
It usually is. When you went to that thing in Australia, I remember there was like a news report that I think it was a V-22 went down, an Osprey went down out there at the same time that you were over there.
So we were on the land at the time. That was during one of our training exercises, but they were transporting guys from one of the other ships onto my ship, the USS Green Bay. And just it's a pretty small landing platform for the rotary wing. And it just, the MV-22, it's a dual rotor helicopter. So one of the rotors was just hanging over the side of the deck, and then it didn't have the right, I guess, thrust. I don't know the right words, but it ended up just going upside down into the drink.
Yeah, I thought you fucking died. And I tried to text you and you didn't answer my text. And I was like, oh my God, Mason's dead. I don't know what to do or who to call. I was freaking out. And then I saw you post.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Oh, never mind.
No service there in the Australian outback.
Mitch, you have too many stories, but sum it up briefly. Where you been? What'd you do?
Oh, sounds like Mason went cooler places than I did. I went besides all over the US, I was stationed in North Carolina for the 5 years pretty much. All my training was done in San Diego and Pendleton. But yeah, so when I was in North Carolina, we went to I was with Force Company, so we didn't do Muse like how Mason did them. So we didn't have really like set deployments for a long time, and we basically just went to Norway, like back to back for a whole bunch of different training, and that was it for like most of the time. And then we did our last deployment to Norway, and it ended up being like, I don't know, like a month and a half in Norway, and then another like month or so we went to Tunisia at the top of Africa, and we did training with Tunisians there, and that was a good time. Besides that, that's my world travels really, just a whole bunch of airports and a whole bunch of flights places. So,
Mitch, you should elaborate on your Norway adventures.
yeah, they were austere to say the least.
Look at that
cool,
big
like,
word. That's college.
You like that? Yeah, freshman year, baby.
Yeah, that's good.
No, yeah, we so they have a long range reconnaissance patrol squadron, so it's called over there, which is like their equivalent to us, except they're just gnarly. Like they're just like dumb how like dedicated they are to being not, I don't know, it's ridiculous. Like they don't break rules, they don't do anything, they're just like super straight laced and just suffer. Like that's all they do is just suffer. Yeah, but I grew up in California, and the Marine Corps thought it'd be a cool idea to just like put me in the snow my whole career. So I went to SEER school, which is like a survival school in Maine, which is like, and I went in like the winter, which was not cool. It was like negative 40 or something. So that was a wake up call.
Okay, and to elaborate on SEER school for everyone who doesn't know what the fuck that is, you literally like live outside and people try to hunt you down, and even if you evade capture, they'll just capture you anyways at the end, and they like help you prepare for if you ever got captured in a foreign country.
Yeah, it's like it's survive, evade, resist, escape. That's what SEER stands for. So yeah, basically what you said.
And they just beat the shit for like a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's a cool course, like one of the best courses I've ever been to, and I got to do it a second time, the Norwegian version of it in Norway.
Yeah, the shit did you twice.
Yeah, in 2 different languages. It was sweet.
Wow.
But yeah, so I don't know. I went from SEER, which was cold, and I was like, man, good thing I don't have to do anything else in the winter. Then I went to Winter Mountain Leaders, which is another school by the Marine Corps, to teach infantry leaders how to be leaders in the snow and like how to like get their guys through that terrain. That also sucked. Honestly, one of the harder courses I've ever been to, because it was just miserable. And then, yeah, my team decided to just go to Norway and do the winter course for the LERP guys. And then I went to the summer course for the LERP guys, which was miserable. That's a whole story in itself. And then I got to be an instructor for them for the winter. So I went back and did that. So
for fun. Just for fun.
Yeah, I basically did the course again for fun. But
brutal.
That was it. Yeah, we have a lot of stories within all that, but
that's for the next podcast episode, Mitch. Don't worry.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, no, we'll get you back on, talk all about
yours. It's gonna be a series.
I don't know if I'm mistaken or not, but Mitch, you were the first American to be an instructor at that LERP course. Yeah, that's right. Breaking history.
Yeah.
Were you really?
I was the first American to complete their summer course and to become an instructor for them.
You just conveniently left that fucking detail out, huh?
Yeah, there's an article online, you can look it up. It's heinous. They sent some kid out, and he like followed me around for a day in the snow and was having a tough time. And it was funny. I feel bad, but he was like, yeah, they sent me out here because I'm like the best in my unit, and like it's just gonna be a sick article. The article comes out and it's so cringe. It's like he like quotes some stuff that I didn't even say, and it just makes me look like a fool. But Yeah, I did the summer course with one other guy from my unit. His name's Max, and it was a good time. But yeah, he didn't become an instructor. He was just there to suffer with me.
Okay, well, there will be a link to that article in the description for this episode, guys. Don't worry.
I hope not.
Check that out. Okay. So blah, 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 we're done with that part. I want to know about boot camp. So the whole point of, or why I wanted you guys on here, what I want to talk about is the mindset development through boot camp. So so mainly focusing on boot camp. First, I need you to explain the whole process of like how it goes. I know there's like the grass week and the this week and the that week. So explain that whole thing. It's been a minute, guys. Okay. It's been a minute.
I'll let Mason do that. He's the senior recruit here.
Okay, so senior recruit, you're going to explain how boot camp goes, basically. First, before I ask you all of the pressing emotional issues that I know you guys are going to have the hardest time talking about because you're manly men, but we're gonna try our best. Okay.
He says I'm a senior recruit. I was like, I don't know what, 3 classes ahead of Mitch, I think.
Yeah, like 2 weeks.
Something like that.
You left like 2 weeks
Maybe
before he did.
Yeah, 2 weeks or something.
Oh my God, I cried when both of you left. I was so sad.
I don't know how to do it now, but back in my core, they were it was 13 weeks. I'm starting to forget too. Was it 3 phases?
Yeah.
The like first, second, third phase. The first week is just kind of shitty. Just everyone's getting their bearings and they're trying to like accommodate you to this new way of living that you're gonna be doing for 3 months. Break you down mentally and physically, I guess, and just kind of make you into this like basic. Everyone's this basic person, and then they make you into, I guess, a Marine after that, like the picture perfect, pristine uniform, march perfectly and crack sticks, throw the rifles around. Like we always did that in training, when you're doing training evolutions,
Yeah, me too. Norway, you should have seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, if you honestly, there's a pretty good documentary. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it's called We the Marines, and it actually sums it up pretty good. It's a pretty good doc. It's not like hard to watch or gross. It's pretty good.
All right, noted. Everyone else note that really quick.
I'm trying to think of anything else, but yeah, that's basically it. You just go there, and then you come out 13 weeks later, and you're slightly different.
You're fucking sick.
No, you're not.
You don't think that you're I think you guys are fucking sick, but
no, I mean,
when you're in the moment, you think you're sick as hell, and then
you think you're really cool, and then you look at pictures, and it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. How is the crucible? What exactly was that? You go up a hill, don't you? You just like walk up a fucking hill.
Yeah. So basically, it's like the culminating event. They put everything together and test you in the field. You get like limited food, and I don't know, what is it, 3 days, something like that, and then you do all these like stupid challenges and teamwork stuff. And I guess it's kind of difficult. By that time, you're just like, I'm just ready to get this over with. Mm-hmm. You walk up a hill, and that's when they make you a Marine. They give you your EGA, and everybody cries. It's awesome.
Did you cry?
No, I was upset. My drill instructor, I can't believe we're telling boot camp stories, by the way.
I need it.
My drill instructor like came up to me and just was like, good job, and handed it to me, and I was like, okay, like say something else, that's make me feel something, and then he like went to like some of the other guys in the platoon that just were complete garbage and was like just pumping their tires. So I was just like, this is dumb. I'm like sitting there like trying like, maybe I should cry. I'm like, I'm gonna try really hard here, like try to get emotional, and I was just like, this is, I don't know, it's just an anticlimactic moment, really.
Oh, I don't like that story. I might just cut that whole thing out of this video because you ruined pride and honor.
It's something you like understand later. Like that's what I think about it. Mm-hmm. Like at the moment, you're kind of just like, this is neat, and then it's like you feel the same. Like nothing. It's like you think there's gonna be a big light bulb, but there isn't. So it's like, cool. I don't know. How'd you feel, Mason?
If you've ever been hiking, you realize it's like actually not that big of a hill. It's just got like a like 50-yard incline at the end there.
A fire break.
Seems like the hardest thing ever. And then see, they hand you, you know, they give you J and your Marino, and it's all good. And then you still have to hike back. Nobody tells you that. You still have to hike back like 5 miles. You feel like you're done and it's all over, but it's only just starting actually.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
No one tells you that.
I think for a lot of people it was more emotional. I don't know. Like Mitch and I, we didn't come from like broken homes, or the Marine Corps was all we had. Like we were pretty set going into it. It was just it was something that we wanted to do. So I think a lot of people that are like, I've always wanted to be a Marine since I was in the womb, and my father was a Marine and my grandfather was a Marine, you know, all this stuff. But I don't know. I mean, Mitch's dad was a Marine, but
Semper Fi. But yeah, so I think if you want to talk, Allie, about the mindset of the whole boot camp thing, I think there's a lot of things going into it, because people have never they never left home before they go to boot camp. They've never done like anything for themselves before they go to boot camp. And so some people just lose it, you know, they get there and they have no clue what's going on. They're getting yelled at. They can't figure out how to do something right. So it's a show for them. I mean, for me, I didn't some people just get lost in that place and they just they turn into this whole recruit thing, and it's weird. They completely change, and their parents are like, oh, that's crazy. It's such a big change. I think for me and CB as well, is we kind of went in there, we're like, all right, we got 13 more weeks, we got 12 more weeks, and we just kind of figured out how to fit in there, and it just kind of time just ticked away. I think some people kind of get really frustrated and get I don't know, lost in there, and then they come out just all hardwired, you know. It's that's all they got is what they just got taught. And I think we were able to, I mean, you can correct me if I was wrong, Mason, but we were able to get out of there with learning some stuff, obviously, about how to be in the military. That's a big change from just normal life, but for the most part, we kept our sanity.
So yeah, just to add to that, like Mitch said, a lot of kids don't really have much going in. So their goal is to be a Marine. They just want to be a Marine. But for us, Mitch, he signed up with a contract to go to recon, and that he wanted to be a reconnaissance man. He wanted to be a 0321. So that was his goal, and boot camp was a stepping stone to get there. You know, I wanted to be in the infantry. Originally, I wanted to go recon as well with Mitch, but that didn't end up working out. So that was my goal. I wanted to be in infantry. He wanted to be a recon, and we had to get through boot camp to get there. That makes sense. So we weren't boot camp wasn't it for us. It was how we're gonna get there, but that wasn't the end.
And I think also I don't know, I'm not gonna say media, but just people in general hype that up to be people oh, especially the recruiters. The recruiters are terrible for it. They oh, this is about to be gnarly. And for some people, maybe it was. And I guess that kind of sounds like I'm a dick now, but I mean, I went there and I was pretty let down. I was like, man, I thought at one point, I remember this is something that's always gonna be burned in my mind. Our drill instructor was like, all right, look to the left and right of you. This is America's finest. And I was like, oh, the shit.
We're fucked.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I was expecting, basically in my mind, basic reconnaissance course, which is what you have to do to become a recon Marine. That is what I thought boot camp was going to be like. And BRC was going to be some unbelievable thing that only giants can do. So when I got to boot camp, and it was we were doing this jumping jacks into a couple push-ups and then going for a run, you're oh, this is weird.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something else I think a lot of people overestimate it. It's oh man, this is about to be the worst time of my life. And then it really, once you get in there and get in the rhythm, it's not that bad.
Not nearly as bad as you think it's going to be. I know freshman year of college, when we first started, I was fucking terrified. I was this is going to be way harder than the shit we were doing at the recruiting station. I don't got any of my friends here. I'm fucked. This guy's yelling at me. And I'd seen drill instructors before, but not a whole lot. And we had Master Sergeant Smith, this big motherfucker, who seemed like he was terrifying. Turns out he's totally not terrifying. I don't know if he listens to this podcast, but he's not scary at all. But he was really scary. But I also went into it like I was going into the Marine Corps because I needed college paid for initially. And then it was just, I really just want to be in the Marine Corps. But I was getting yelled at one time by Master and Smith because I couldn't figure out the bearing shit. I couldn't figure out the bearing and the yes sir, no sir, and like being respectful because I'm #not. I'm like joking exactly all of the time. And so he was yelling at me and he's like, why are you even in this fucking program? And I was like, I just want to be a Marine. Like, I'll just go to boot camp instead. This shit is not, I'm not cut out for this. I'll just go to boot camp because I can do the robot beep boop bop, whatever, listen to somebody else. But the officer program was more like you had to become like the little clone that they try to make you in boot camp, but then you also have to be able to like think and tell other people what to do. Which
most of them come out not doing too good of a job of that, but
well, no, because they're in fucking college, they're children, and they have a huge ego complex because they think that they're hot shit, and they don't actually know shit about fuck. Hi, but even so, it's a different experience in the boot camp experience, I think.
Yeah, I concur.
You concur?
Yeah.
You need to leave college immediately, Mitch. I don't like this.
I got a whole list of them over here I'm looking at.
I bet you do. Written on the back of your hand or something. Oh yeah. Okay, wait. So you guys, now that you're both out of the Marine Corps, what are you doing with your lives?
Mason, you can answer that. Yours is more better.
They're both married. They both got hitched recently to like very long time girlfriends. Yay, we're so happy.
Yep. Mason, take it away.
Mason, what are you doing?
I'm going to school right now, Cal State. Pursuing a bachelor's in kinesiology, utilizing my GI Bill. Super rad. And I work on an ambulance, so I work for a private ambulance company, running 911 calls in Los Angeles County. It's very fun. I really enjoy like all the trauma care and medical stuff. So getting out, I think that's what kind of helped me decide what I wanted to do in the long term. So
I didn't even know you were doing that. I kind of feel like a piece of shit. I didn't know that you were working for like EMT medical stuff. I knew you were in school, but I didn't know.
I don't just like tell people. I'll just like text you, hey, this is what I'm doing.
I wish you would, but whatever. Mitch?
So I got out like a year after Mason because I just had a longer contract. So I'm still behind the power curve. I got out and my plan is exact same as what he's doing. I am going to college. I'm getting a degree in criminal justice, which is brutal. Not that it's hard, it's just not very interesting so far. I signed up for an EMT program because I had my EMT before I joined the military, but I never restarted so that's gone. So I got to redo that. That's awesome. And that class got filled this semester, so I got to wait till next semester. So in the meantime, drum roll please, I'm working at the pool. I'm a lifeguard.
Oh.
Oh my God, hell yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's tough. So that's a big thing we can talk about later, I'm sure, is about getting out and the mindset that you have and what you got to go through, because sometimes it sucks.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, I'm going to CU Denver, so I'm going to the city version of Boulder, just because they had the degree I wanted. And yeah, I sit there and watch 18-year-olds try to finger blast each other in the spa. It's sick.
Oh my God.
Pretty on brand.
Pretty on brand.
Yeah, so it's tough. I mean, like yesterday I was working a lifeguard course to like certify people, and I was like, dude, this is miserable. But whatever. It's in the meantime.
In the meantime, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully next year this time I'll be doing what you're doing, running the ambulance. I got to hook up at some the trauma center in Denver that I can hopefully get a job at once I get my cert. So
that'd be tight. Well, probably. It would probably be tight. Be a lot cooler than being a fucking lifeguard.
I can guarantee that.
Okay, wait. I do want you to talk more about that though. Like, I'm sure that it's fucking, well, yeah, it's hard going from like that community and like the supermoto and the military is like such a cult mindset, and then suddenly you're out here, like you get out and you don't have like a whole ass
Well,
plan. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
I'll go back to before I joined the military. My whole life, me and Mason both basically played hockey. So we had a team with us always, and you always had like 15 friends you could just fire off a text and then you're hanging out. So that was rad. And then when I stopped playing hockey, I'm sure the same with him, is that you lost that. And I was just like, holy shit, I don't know what to do. Obviously I knew I was going to go in the Marines. So I went in the Marines, and then that's when I met you guys. And then we just hung out all the time. You guys became a little friend group, which was sick. But then you join the Marine Corps again, and it starts over. That same cycle starts over. Don't know anybody. Everybody you see, like, sucks. You're like, oh my God, this guy sucks. This guy sucks. Like, there's no way I'm going to meet someone that was as cool as my hockey team or as, the last couple of people. And then you do eventually, then you become with this like super tight, like awesome group that I was with, that we were together for 5 years and did absolutely everything, like next level fear bonds and everything. And then fucking DD 214 comes and then chopped, like they're gone, you're gone. And you're just like, oh, this is tough too. And then on top of that, you go from doing something you're very proud of and something that you're good at, and now you're just sitting at school in a freshman English class, listening to kids talk about fucking video games. And this time last year, you were jumping out of a plane, or you were on a range shooting so many rounds that you can't even count. So it's like, it's tough. It's for sure tough.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of, that's like actually a problem in the military. People who get like medically discharged earlier, like get discharged, period. There's a lot of studies on like how many suicides happen after someone gets out of the military, and it's mostly attributed to just losing that like community and those people that are constantly around you that are like-minded, and like you feel like you're doing something important. A lot of people can't handle that.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I work at the pool now, and someone that knows what I did a while ago was like, oh, what are you up to? And I'm like, I'm a fucking lifeguard that gets paid 15 bones an hour to go sit on stand. Like, that's not cool. I don't want to tell anybody that. Like, right. That sucks, So it's tough. I mean, you kind of just got to get over it and sort it out. And you luckily now, like I said, I've had those couple experiences that I know that eventually I'll sort it out.
Yeah, it's coming
eventually
back.
I'll get to where I get and I'll be happy. But yeah, right now it just sucks.
Mm-hmm. It's temporary though. Anyways, okay, so you guys went to boot camp and you became superior human beings because you were in the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, raw yet kill, etc., etc. And then in the Marine Corps, is it still sick? Because you're like with all your homies, right? You're with all your other Marine friends.
So for me, going to boot camp, you weren't so much like depressed or like upset or anything, because you're just there and you're doing it. So that just goes by. But then afterwards for me was heinous. It was like, I think for almost maybe 2 months or like 3 months or something like that, like before I got to the recon training company, like that section of my career, which was like I said, only 2 or 3 months, was absolutely brutal. Because one, I had to go to recruiting assistance, which I wish that on nobody. That is foul. My contract was for recon, and they basically just said, we're just trying to get you over there, so you're going to MCT, like whatever the first slot is. But I still sat in like a holding platoon for 2 weeks. It's called Lima. And wow, anybody that knows Lima Company knows that it's just the worst time of your life. And I just you sit there all day and just wait. And everybody that fails from recon school goes there and waits before they go back to the different MLS. So you just hear these horror stories that aren't true. You're just getting stressed. Everybody's saying that you're going to fail. And you sit there and eat Dominoes and fucking pretend to like work out. It's awful. That for sure was like the worst time of my life, I think. Yeah, that sucked.
We went just doing on a hike one time when you were doing the recruiting thing, and you were back on Santa Clarita for a second. We went on a hike, and I was fairly confident you were about to fucking off yourself. You were so miserable.
It sucked. I wasn't like, obviously I wasn't like suicidal or anything, but dude, it was like, I was like, I think that was the first time I can be like, I think I was depressed. Like that sucked. That was stupid.
And you were so worried you were going to become a refrigerator mechanic because you weren't going to pass.
Yeah, that's also stressful. That's because like everybody tells you when you have a contract to go do recon, everybody tells you you're gonna fail. Everybody tells you it's way too hard because either they failed or someone they know failed. It's difficult, but
you did it.
yeah, that sucked.
How do you, so I know that like your actual job in the Marine Corps doesn't really translate to the shit that you guys are doing now, but do you feel like things that you learned in the Marine Corps are like helping you in your life now?
Yeah, I think so.
Like what?
I got a lot of different training and stuff throughout my years of doing different stuff. So I have a lot of stuff that's useful. I think some of it's completely not useful. But I think the mindset, if that's what we're going to talk about, is the most important things, because in pretty much most jobs in the military, you kind of just get thrown these tasks that are like pretty difficult and hard to complete because of whatever time or resources or whatever. And you just kind of sort them out and do them. So I think doing that for X amount of time, like that's probably the most valuable thing you learn, is just to like figure stuff out, time management, like just, I don't know, being an adult, like that's the most important stuff. I don't have one thing that's like, oh yeah, this is now helping me in my future career, but I have a lot of things that I took away from all the stuff we did.
Stress management. That's what I took away from. People get stressed out so quickly at work about the most dumb, mundane shit. And I'm like, guys, like, no, fucking relax. Just do what is in front of you. And I think a lot of that is from the psycho drill instructor that I had and the captain that I had, and just like being in that environment constantly of like having to figure shit out like on the fly.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, stress management is huge. Going to like what Mitch and I are gonna, you gotta be able to put that stress aside and just look at the task at hand and figure it out the best way possible. Getting flustered over, someone's freaking egg just blood squirting out of their leg. You just gotta like take care of it. A lot of people get work, but I think the Marine Corps really helped with, especially being in the machine gun platoon I was in. They were really big on like adding in a lot of stress in the training and then being able to just do your job competently with that stress. Delegation, I think, is another big one. Obviously, coming from playing hockey, like leadership is there. At one point or another, I'm sure Mitch was also in a leadership point, like captain or assistant. It's a little different, obviously. You're not telling guys to go pick up pucks. It's, I don't know, I guess maybe telling guys to go pick up brass is the same thing. But,
yeah,
the delegation, I guess, just confidence to lead carries over pretty hard.
And mine was like, but my situation was slightly more unique because I had a really close, like my team was 6 guys. So I think having to work with others, like I had a couple of guys on my team that I wanted to just throw a punch every morning, but you have to sort it out. You can't just like, you're doing something that's like for the most part high risk, depending on what you're doing, and you gotta be able to rely on the guys. So I think just being able to work with like just anybody is a good thing that I took away as well, because kind of just have to in the military. You just get thrown a group of whatevers, so you just kind of got to sort it out.
I went into it, kind of knowing that I probably wouldn't do 20 years. I had an open mind going into it, but I did the 4 and ended up getting out. But I knew I had a pretty good idea I wasn't going to stay in forever. And I still decided to be a machine gunner, knowing that there's really no use for machine guns outside of the Marine Corps.
Right.
Believe it or not. I heard a story. There's one guy who was a machine gunner and got out, and now he works at that, that range in Vegas.
Yeah.
Where you can shoot a machine gun. He works there as like an armor.
So 1 out of how many thousand?
With machine guns.
EMT stuff is also very in line with the stuff that you learned in the Marine Corps. Like it's not
Mason,
that far from it.
Where are you going long term? What do you want to do long term?
Firefighter?
For city or county?
Still kind of far. I want to finish up my degree before then, so still got a couple years to figure it out.
Your wife is a police officer?
She is.
A firefighter and a police officer. That's the coolest little fairy tale ever.
And they do jujitsu.
And they do jujitsu. Holy shit.
I'm looking at some of your questions here you sent me. So there's like you put on their worst moments and best moments and how like they affect you. I think, luckily for me, I didn't think. Well, I think I don't know. Let's start that over. I've definitely hit like walls in like my mental ability, my physical ability, and that's like I think that's a very important thing in life. Like that's cool. Like I found out where I was like, that's it. That's all I got. And I was stoked that I was able to like push myself to that, which I don't think a lot of people do, is like find their breaking point. And I was like slightly forced, slightly not, like obviously you can always quit, but there's a couple times where I definitely like, this is all I got. Hopefully I can hold on. And I barely did. So I think that was cool. I'm glad that happened to me. That happened early on in like recon training and then a couple of different times throughout the career.
Like that one time you fell off the fucking cliff. How'd that feel?
Yeah, that was a rodeo. Straight rodeo. That was not cool.
Pushing yourself to some kind of limit. I don't know.
I mean, best moments, I don't know, all the time. Hanging out with your friends. Like those are sweet moments. You get to like look back on like the ramp of a plane and be like, oh dude, what's up? Nux, and then jump out. Like that's sick. Diving sucks, but I mean it's still sick. Like you look underwater, your buddy's under there, and you're like, this is kind of cool. Like everything you do in the military is miserable. Like as cool as doing just cyclic on a machine gun until you burn the barrel, like that's rad, but it sucks, like at the end of the day, like you're burning yourself, like it's just miserable. But it's all these things that suck so bad put such a big smile on your face that I wouldn't trade any of the moments I had for anything. Like
the most fun you never want to have ever again.
Suffering to have fun, like that's kind of the best way to do it.
Okay, you sound a little bit like a psycho.
If something doesn't suck, then you don't remember it, really, I think, right?
I kind of just did an episode about that a little bit. Like if something's not hard, then it's not really worth it.
Yeah, like you never remember something that was like a super easy like hike or something. You remember the one that you almost died on.
Growth too. You don't really get better without pushing those limits.
Mental, yeah, and it's not even just like you get sick gains for sure, but also like the mental gains, growth.
Yeah, I mean that's what I took out of the military the most, is just like finding out more about myself than any like one thing, like one cert or whatever. Like I think I learned, like I know myself pretty well now. Obviously it's changing all the time and stuff, but I got a pretty good grip on what I need to work on and stuff. So
what do you need to work on, Mitch?
We don't have a long enough in the podcast.
Okay, you're right. Next episode. What do you think, CB? You agree with what Mitch is saying?
Yeah, I don't have actually anything much different than what he said. Just all the way I like to describe my time is that there was a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot more downs than there were ups, but the ups were so high that it like way more than balanced it out. Like all the shitty field days. And I know like being in the like a conventional infantry battalion is a little different than the high speed stuff Mitch was doing, like leadership wise and all that little stuff. Like, we had crazy field days and formations with 1,500 people. It's always going to be a shit show. And getting held over because someone can't find their frickin' NVG or whatever, everyone has to stay for that. But yeah, like going on those gnarly hikes or doing like the super fun static ranges or dynamic field ops, running missions and like, I don't know, just like I said, going cyclic on machine guns or just living and being around machine guns all the time, teaching and learning about them is like, that shit was fun.
Damn, that's so cool, guys. I'm very jealous.
It was cool. It was a good time. Mason, what do you think about me and my friends? I have a good group of dudes that like we call each other all the time and talk about our feelings because we're soft, but it's important. We've like there's a couple of guys in our units and stuff, but that won't do that, and we're trying to work on that. But so the whole like not doing combat and getting out, and then what just happened in Afghanistan happened, and then that feeling, like I don't know, that was for me and all my buddies. For me and all my buddies, that was weird because like I joined thinking like you're doing it to like protect and do all this, like obviously like all the benefits we got from it are sweet. Like I didn't join, and neither did Mason, like exactly why we didn't go into like jobs that will help us in the future, because we joined to help, to be part of something that's like we thought was bigger. So not doing anything for those 4 or 5 years, like it kind of like like it's not like, and it's a hard thing to just go with, because it's not like you're saying like I want to go to combat and like kill people and like, because that's not true. Like you don't want to do that, but you almost at the end of the day you feel like unfulfilled or like a fraud or something, because you did all this cool stuff, you got all this sweet training, and then you never went and like, you know, it's like being a practice player in hockey, you know, like you never went to the show. So it's weird. It's a weird feeling for sure.
I know, and I don't really have an answer for that. When Taylor was talking about that too. He's in the Army. Like he's about to be out, and he's like, I haven't fucking done anything with my time at all. I got to do a bunch of sick trainings and stuff, and like I sound like I'm fucking dope, but I haven't done anything. And then what just happened in Afghanistan happened, and there's nothing like it is a very I don't know what to say about it, because I get what you're saying. It feels very unfulfilling.
Yeah, I mean, like it was weird. You like, I think that day when the bomb went off and everything, like all my friends, like we all called each other just like naturally. We're just like, and I called some of my buddies that have prior combat experience and stuff, and you know, the feeling was all mutual. It was like it's just a weird, especially just like the whole leaving Afghanistan. Also, like it was just like I don't know enough about all that to really talk about it like smartly, if you will. But just like being in the military, getting out, and then like having that kind of happen, which like I don't know, it was a weird feeling. I was wondering if you guys had any thoughts on it.
Yeah, it was it was frustrating, not thinking personally for me, but it was just frustrating in the sense like that had to happen, and that they died. I think that's a pretty general consensus from my buddies that I talked to, just like frustrated, you know. You know, you want to be there for that kind of thing. Like Mitch said, we joined because we want to make a difference. We want to be there to help. I don't ever want to say, oh, I want to go and I want to get in a gunfight, but like to say, I wish I was there to help those guys, you know, like that's what we did for 4 years. We trained for that, you know, not that specific scenario, but that, and then to never do any of it, it's tough. I know a lot of guys that really have a hard time with it, and they get out and it really kind of wears them, and they bitch about it, and they kind of just, they want to put it all behind them and forget about it as if their service it meant nothing. I don't know. It's kind of, I've found out that it's really out of my hands. Like there's absolutely nothing I could have done. Mitch, we both joined like 19 or 20. We could have gone like a year earlier. What the difference? We could have stayed in for 40 years, and nothing could have happened in the next 20, 30 years, right? It's completely out of our hands. And you just kind of do, like you just like, it sounds stupid, but you just got to stay ready. Like,
yeah, what you're saying about there's nothing like we could have done, like, you know, joined earlier or whatever, you know, dodging deployments. Like we both took every opportunity we had. And I mean, my unit was there that just recently, and they were on the ship, and there's 2 platoons on the ship. Only 1 platoon went, and the other platoon sat on the ship the entire time while all that was happening. So it's like, imagine what they're feeling.
Imagine for them.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They're in the chute. They're ready to go. They're strapped in. They're geared up, and they get to stand down, and their other team gets the tap. Like that's hard, I think, for sure. Like those guys are probably feeling something. And then,
but what is that feeling? It's a very interesting concept. It feels like,
I think it's a mix. It's like a mix between like, it's like FOMO. Yeah. It's a mix between like guilt, like self-centeredness, I think a little bit. But like not in like it's a bad way, but I mean like,
no,
you want, like you said, you want to be there, but I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to say, because there's also like the other side of that coin is like, if you're saying like, oh, I want to go to combat and I want to do all this stuff, it's like, well, the harsh reality is of it, like your best friends could die, you could die, you know, like you could be dismembered. Like,
yeah,
that's all the stuff that like all these kids that like join in, and when they're out of boot camp, they're like, yeah, kill, like, oh, like, yeah, like, fuck, I want to go and like slay bodies and stuff. It's like there's a real reality behind it that's not just the cool like picture books in the movies you see. So I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm upset that I didn't get to go and help in a way, you know, like, but I'm thankful that me and all my close friends got out somewhat unscathed.
Yeah, it's a very, very weird mix of emotions. I was all fucked up about it. So fucking, it brings back too much stuff, but it's such a like a, I don't know, like a poor me type of
Yeah, you
Bullshit
feel like a dick. You feel like a dick for feeling bad or
Exactly.
feeling
Yeah.
whatever you feel. Yeah.
You're feeling whatever
That's
it
the
is that you're feeling, and then you feel like an asshole. You're like, oh my God, it's not about me. Literally 13 fucking kids just died. Like,
Yeah.
shut up, you know?
Yeah, but you'd be lying if you didn't feel like the way we all felt. So
Yeah, that's true. The purpose of everybody being in the military, though, like you guys did serve your country because you were there and you were ready to go. Had anything happen, it's like car insurance. You guys are country insurance.
well, that too, and I think we also like. I definitely taught some people something
You're
a
welcome.
little bit. You know, CB definitely taught some kids some stuff. So at the end of the day, we're just passing down the knowledge, passing down the whatever.
Yeah, and that's the other factor of the military that I think is equally as important as like the part where you like protect the country and everything. It's the community and the lives that you can touch within the military. Like not what you are doing in the military, but like you might have saved a private's life by accident, just by something that you said to him, or like him watching you. Like you become a model for these kids that are probably going to do their 4 years and get out, but everybody is connected in a way, and you guys are all teaching each other something, even if you don't realize that you're doing it. And so you're helping people. You're not helping fucking Syrian refugees or whatever, but you're helping fucking Johnny from Michigan who doesn't know his right from his left, and he's got no idea what the fuck he's doing. And then this unit,
those Midwest kids need some help.
They really do. We're gonna talk about it. It's fine. But yeah, there's that component of it too. Just becoming a good fucking person and helping other people in whatever ways that you can.
I agree.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We love you. I am ending the podcast right here. Boys, say goodbye to the audience. I'm going to stop recording and then we're going to keep talking.
All right. Peace out.
Thank
everybody.
you for having us, Allie.
And that's a fucking wrap, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you want to talk to me or you want to be a guest on the podcast, you know that you can. linktr.ee/BTC fit. So go ahead and hit me up. Leave reviews on Apple Podcasts, please and thank you. And happy fucking Tuesday. And I will see you next week.